Hey, this is Dr. Toks Emdin, and welcome to the Visionary Dentist Podcast. This podcast is for that dentist who wants to do more and is not wanting to settle with just the ordinary. They have that ambitious entrepreneurial mind and they want to grow a big business. So go ahead and take what you need and grow that business of yours. See you on the other side. Hey, visionaries, this is Chris, and we're back again with another podcast episode today. And we're outside, so I'm taking a risk here. We may have some background noise, but the goal is that the message comes across and it really helps you really achieve the dreams that you have in life and really pursue it with everything that you have. So the one thing I wanted to go over today was the word repetition. And it's so commonly, said, or we know exactly what the word means. But as far as how much we utilize it, sometimes we really have no idea, like with the amount of things that are repeated that we consistently see or hear, taste, touch, whatever it may be. So I just wanted to go over a couple of the things that I noticed had a major impact, like beyond major impact on me, and I just see it as far as like on human beings and as animals as a species in itself. One of the ones that we use, or that I use, is auto suggestion. And I just downloaded an app, a VLC app, and over the last 2 months, I've had it to where I would write down my dream and goals as if they've already happened, and I'll say it in my voice. I've been asking my wife if she can read it out loud in her voice, just because, I believe it'll have even more of an impact, or I'll emotionalize it more than what I do now. But I listen to that as soon as I wake up. It's part of the morning routine, and I'll set a timer for at least 5 minutes for me to just automatically hear my life script and the dreams and goals that I have in life, as if I've already achieved them. So it'll start with, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then the whole sentence will now occur. And it gets pounded and pounded over and over again into my mind. And the goal for that is for me to, subconsciously believe that dream and visualize myself as if I've already achieved it and I already have it, and it's already manifested in my life. The other thing when it comes to repetition that we'll do would be writing the goals down. And just because certain goals I write down, they're so scary to me because I really don't see myself like doing that at times, or it's so out of my norm, out of my comfort zone, that as I write it down 50 times a day, I will then, each time I write it, have something else or spark in my mind that'll now give me this hint that, hey, it definitely can be achieved and I definitely can do it. And then I even start getting ideas as to how it can be done more effectively, and just so many different emotions and things come to mind when you're just consistently writing that goal down. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's completely life-changing. And a big one for me, and this one I've never thought about, is reading. I went through a lot of schooling, so I took a lot of tests. And I used to study and cram everything, and I'll study it probably 3-4 times, go take the test. Hopefully it was good. Hopefully, I passed or got the grade I was looking for. And then I noticed afterwards, we will leave that test and go on to the next subject. And, in hindsight, I noticed it's like not much was truly like learned to the point where I can effectively use that information on a day-to-day basis. And one of the big reasons I believe that happened was just due to lack of repetition. Um, a baby has no idea the difference between their name, their mother's name, their father's name, female, male, whatever it may be. They don't have any reference point when they're a newborn. But we consistently tell them their name daily, multiple times a day. And that's the form of repetition right there. And that repetition, it happens to where one day that baby would just recognize and say like, oh, hey, my name is Levi. okay. That's what they've been saying this whole time. And the baby possibly didn't even know that he was taking in that information of repetition that whole time from birth until the day he figured out that his name was Levi. Possibly had no clue. He just knew that just kept automatically being repeated, to him. And that day he now caught on to say, oh, okay, hey, they're calling me whenever they say that name. Same thing with, I see with reading, or same thing that, we get from our parents, whatever it may be. It was all due to just rote, consistent repetition. So I tell you that when I go back to the story of us studying and then taking a test and then going on to the next subject, is that most of us who even do have degrees or have learned whatever, have done a lot of education in the Western world or wherever you may be, we really don't remember or know a lot of the things we studied, let's say 10 years ago from a book. Most of it has been, most of our learning, I would say, has been more than likely through experience, with our bodies actually doing it, through repeating that same thing that we've done over and over and over again. So now when reading, there's a different way I read, to where I won't read a whole bunch of different books all my mentors had, but instead I would read one, but I would consistently read, let's say it could be 4 paragraphs in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, that I would read for 30 days, and I would read it 5 times in that day. And it was so funny to me how my level of awareness increased, basically who I was changed. So when I read the same words, I was able to interpret it in a different way, that I've seen it has been completely life-changing, because what I've read, I now see that my body is actually doing. And for me, one of the biggest ones, like I've always said, was decision making. And now I get to the point where after I've thought of something for about 4 times, I would now say, okay, I'm going to make a decision to either go with it or not go with it. And the last one I have here is repetition when it comes to what we want manifested in our life, that we see it even just everywhere we go. So it could be where we put it on our mirror, so we see it first thing when we're brushing our teeth in the morning, next to our bed. It could even be something as simple as a picture of you that's photoshopped in front of a crowd of more than 2,000 people talking, or it could be you with a New York's best-selling book. But the goal is to keep it in front of you and really not avoid it at all, like have no choice but to see it. And that's also another form of repetition. And the funny thing that I've learned with this repetition thing is when you completely impress it on your mind, it now starts becoming part of your subconscious mind, meaning it becomes a part of certain habits you have, or certain things that you think of before you thought about it, if that makes sense, which we classify as habits. And then we naturally now start seeing that the body, after the mind has already conceived it, has now put it into the subconscious mind, the body now starts acting on whatever it is that's been impressed in it for a long period of time. Whatever we feed it, basically, is what's going to grow. And this could be both good and both bad things. It could be manifesting that dream, and it could also be feeding the same habit that grandpa or dad had, since I was 5 years old. Whatever it is, the repetition of it feeds it. So I hope you got some value from this little episode that we've done today. I hope this background noise hasn't affected the sound too much. But I'm glad to do this. Can't wait to do the next one, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. All right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Visionary Dentist podcast. We hope you implement this information and become majorly profitable. For coaching with me, go to workwithdremdin.com/free gift. Also check out my YouTube channel at Toks Emdin, and check me out on Instagram at toks.emdin. All right, make your visions real.